investigating hate crimes since World War I, and today it's the highest priority in our civil rights program. So why is that? First, victims of hate crimes can suffer long-term, devastating physical, mental, and emotional harm. But beyond that, a single hate crime can strike a nerve that runs deep through our community. Innocent people are suddenly afraid of their own personal safety and for the safety of their friends, their family, and neighbors. No one should be afraid to walk down the street or feel like they could be targeted in an act of violence based on how they look, where they're from, or any part of their identity. Acts of hate and racism have no place here in Jacksonville, or anywhere else for that matter. Now, I want to be clear. Hate itself is not a crime, and the FBI is mindful of protecting freedom of speech and other civil liberties. But an individual crosses the line when they turn speech into violence motivated by bias. The FBI investigates hundreds of potential hate crime incidents across the country every single year. But how often do hate crimes actually really happen? Well, back in August, the FBI released the latest version of our Hate Crime Statistics Report of 2020. We took data provided to us by our law enforcement agencies and found that in Florida, there were 109 hate crimes that were reported in 2020, which was almost the same as in 2019, which was 111. But across the country, there's been more than a 20% increase in reports nationwide over the past 5 years. And unfortunately, we believe the true number of hate crime incidents could even be higher, but locally and nationwide. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why? We know from working with victims that hate crimes often go unreported. Some people are afraid to come forward. They may have a fear or even just a distrust of law enforcement. There could be fear due to their immigration status. There could be fear of retribution from their attacker. We understand that, but law enforcement cannot investigate a crime if people are too afraid to come forward. And our primary goal is to protect our victims, regardless of their immigration status or their country of origin. Another challenge is that a federal hate crime are very difficult to charge in court. Law enforcement may have evidence of the underlying crime, whether it's an assault, could be arson, or even murder. However, hate crimes are some of the only crimes where law enforcement has to prove the motive in a court of law. In order to charge a federal hate crime, we have to prove that the offender acted intentionally and willfully with bias, and that can be very difficult. Other times, it could be that victims and witnesses just aren't sure where to report the information. So starting today, we are going to do more than that. We're going to change that. The posters that you see to my left are part of public awareness campaign that is launching today across North Florida. Over the next year, you will see these images and more on social media, billboards, popular mobile apps, and even in gas stations. You will also see them in local print publications that serve African American, Asian American, Hispanic, LGBTQ, and Jewish communities and businesses. And these ads are going to rotate in various languages. This campaign was designed by the FBI Jacksonville Division to help victims understand our workflow so that they feel more confident to come forward and speak to us. FBI agents look at every tip that comes in. And when we do that work with our law enforcement hand in hand, like all of those that you see behind me and to my right, we work together to identify and investigate what hate crimes are out there. This campaign is going to reinforce that collaboration between the FBI and our law enforcement partners, but also our community organizations who are also serving victims of this crime. This is information that you can take to those victims. So as part of this campaign, we're going to try to continue to meet with those organizations and maintain an open line of communication with them, because the reality is, together, we can attack this problem of hate crimes head on. There's no place in Florida where hate should be tolerated. So if you are a victim of a hate crime, and we want to know that you can come forward because we do care about what happens to you. and you can actually do something about it. I want to recognize Chief Jackson Short from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Chief Short and his team are critical partners in our civil rights work. So I'll call on him first to provide some insight, followed by some comments from the State Attorney, Melissa Nelson.
Good morning. I'm Chief Jackson Short with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Homeland Security Division. I want to echo everything that our partners at the FBI have stated today and voice my appreciation for the collaboration that we have each and every day in our fight to end hate crimes in our community. We have detectives specifically assigned to the FBI's Civil Rights Task Force who are specially trained to investigate these types of crimes on behalf of the citizens in Jacksonville. Together, we can make a difference by speaking out and reporting these types of crimes and ensure services are provided to the victims to begin the healing process. The reality is that these hate-motivated crimes happen in every community, regardless of education or income. Innocent people are victimized by those motivated by hate, but we have the mechanisms in place to hold those criminals accountable. No matter what the type of crime is, we at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office are here to help. Emergency crimes in progress should be reported to 911, or our non-emergency number of 904-630-0500 should be called if it is not an emergency. If staying anonymous is important to you, you can call our partners at First Coast Crime Stoppers at 1-866-845-TIPS. Thank you, and I would like to now turn it over to our State Attorney, Melissa Nelson.
Thank you, Chief Short. Thank you, Special Agent in Charge, Rojas. I appreciate being here today to talk about an important topic and share with you what at the State Attorney's Office we've done over the last few years in response to being more responsive to allegations of hate crimes. Daily, we work with our law enforcement partners to protect people of all race, genders, ages, religions, sexual orientation, ethnicity, and disability. A victim of a crime is a victim of crime no matter who you are, what you look like, or what you believe. And these crimes need to be reported. So we stand with the FBI and everyone, all of our partners here today, in support of this important work. In the last few years at the State Attorney's Office, we've done a couple of things that I think are important to note. We stood up and established a Human Rights Division. It is a subsection of our Special Prosecution Unit. And this division, the specialty area, prosecutes, among other offenses, crimes of hate. We also set up, importantly, a corresponding hotline, which you can find on our State Attorney website, for people to provide information on potential offenses. As SAC Rojas mentioned, these crimes are often difficult to prove. They have to be reported. And then we work with our partners at the U.S. Attorney's Office to determine the best forum for prosecution. Although hate crimes have been rare at the statewide level in reporting, we have the ability and the will to pursue such cases when the facts and the evidence present themselves. So I applaud the FBI, Jacksonville Division, and SAC Rojas, JSO, and the Department of Homeland Security, our partners here today, for their commitment to this important area and their continued dedication to keeping our community, and that is everyone in our community, safe, and to spread awareness. Thank you.
Big thank you, obviously, to Melissa and Chief Jackson. So whether this is a state prosecution through her office or a federal prosecution through the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI stands ready to use every single tool that we have at our disposal to protect the rights of every single American. And with that, I'd like to close with a little personal note. 2.5 years ago, I came to the FBI Jacksonville Division as the first Latina to ever be promoted into the rank of the Special Agent in Charge. It's an absolute honor to serve the great people of North Florida and to have that title. But it's also a bit frustrating because why does it take so long to achieve a milestone such as this for any culture and for mine? So diversity is what makes this country interesting, but acceptance and inclusion will make us great and we'll be better. So only then will everyone have a chance to achieve goals far beyond their actual dreams and not be held down by others' biases. So there is no place for hate here anymore. Everyone deserves to feel safe, everyone deserves a voice. I'm here today to commit that to you because my team is here, my partner's here. We stand here united, but we're also here as a team, and we're here to listen. We hear your concerns. We are going to continue to work with you. We are going to work through this together, and we are going to stop hate in this community. And due to, unfortunately, time constraints and a few other obstacles that we have going on in law enforcement, we will take questions to the side so we can do some follow-up. And I know Amanda had sent a lot of additional resources. I know she flooded you with statistics. So if you have any additional questions, we'll take them on the side. I just want to say thank you for your coming and being a part of our awareness campaign. Thank you so much.